Imagine a kingdom where the emperor cares more about his DIY projects than governing, where his ministers and a scheming eunuch run the country into the ground. This isn't a fantasy. It's the true story of Zhu Youxiao, China's Carpenter Emperor, and the second-to-last ruler of the mighty Ming Dynasty. A teenage woodworking fanatic, a scheming eunuch, and a pack of power-hungry politicians. This wasn't a dysfunctional family sitcom. This was China's Ming Dynasty on the brink. And together, they didn't just fail at governing. They speedran their empire's collapse. In 1620, Emperor Tianqi died suddenly after just 29 days on the throne. His 16-year-old son Zhu Youxiao was abruptly thrust into power with absolutely no preparation. Why such a disastrous transition? Because for decades, his father had been treated as little more than a backup prince, and no one had bothered to properly educate the spare heir's spare heir. And so the teenage Zhu Youxiao was literally dragged from his carpentry workshop and placed on the dragon throne, completely unqualified, barely able to read, and infinitely more passionate about woodworking than statecraft. The stage was set for one of the most disastrous reigns in Ming history. Power-hungry concubines tried to control the teen emperor, but scholar officials literally snatched him away in a palace showdown. Their victory backfired, with no empress mother. Zhu Youxiao relied entirely on his wet nurse Madame Ku and her lover, eunuch Wei Zhongxian. While Manchurians gathered at the borders, Zhu Youxiao was obsessed with carpentry. Court records say he built working dollhouses and water-powered toys. But here's the twist. Eunuch Wei deliberately interrupted him with paperwork during sawing sessions. The emperor's response? Just handle it. And just like that, China's government became a eunuch's puppet show. The Donglin faction, a network of scholar officials, tried to stop corruption, but Wei hit back hard, arresting critics with fake charges and torturing them to death. Yet in their bitter struggle, both factions became equally destructive to the empire. They taxed farmers to starvation, fired skilled generals, and left the military defenses in ruins. All while the Manchurians watched from the northern borders, barely containing their glee as the Ming Dynasty tore itself apart. By 1624, half the government offices were literally empty. Why? Because to get a job, you didn't need skills or experience. You just had to pick a side in the Donglin versus eunuch feud and stick with it. The endless factional wars transformed the Ming Dynasty into a zombie state, paralyzed and rotting from within, a government that could no longer make decisions, enforce policies, or correct its fatal mistakes. While the Donglin moralists and eunuch clique tore each other apart, the empire bled out. At just 22, Zhu Youxiao died accidentally after a pleasure boat capsized. Many suspected poison. He left his brother Zhongxian a doomed empire, and 24 years later, the Manchurians did what everyone saw coming. They conquered China and started the Qing dynasty. History judges Zhu Youxiao harshly, but was he evil? Or just a kid trapped in a broken system? When leaders care more about hobbies than governing, when politics becomes team sports, collapse isn't just possible, it's guaranteed.